This meeting is being recorded.
Good evening, everyone. What we are discussing in last class? Have you remember what we learned last class? How can I say an application is a standalone application? If it is executed with main method from command prompt by using Java command, we call it as what? Standalone application. How can you say it is an internet application? If it is called or if it is executed from servlet from browser by using URL, then we call it as what? Internet application. Okay. What is the difference in core Java application development and advanced Java application development? Is logic different or what do you call front end application, front end different, front end. So complete business logic development is same. So front end is different, back end database is different. So what are the things we have to drop from the project to make it as an internet application? Number one, main method class replace with servlet. Second, scanner by using HTML. System.out.println with JSP. Okay, and file system, IO stream file system with a JDBC and database. Okay, so if you do these changes, then core Java application, standalone application becomes internet web application. Okay, nice. Next, if you want to interact with a database, just with JDBC, is it sufficient? Using JDBC, I can create the connection, but how to talk to the database? By using SQL. Serverless internet accessing. Now my target is connect to the database and store my data in the database, read data from the database. Just by using JDBC, can I connect to the database? Yes. Can I store my data in the database just by using JDBC? No. JDBC is just providing a platform for running the queries. Again repeating, JDBC is just providing a platform for running SQL queries. Okay, sir, I have SQL plus now. I have SQL plus to run queries on the database. Then why JDBC required? SQL plus is a manual operation. You should know Oracle software, Oracle Force database software you should know. All query syntaxes you must know. You have to type the query there. Tell me, as a user, when you want to register your account in any website, are you running insert into accounts? Are you writing that? No, right? You are not preparing query. What are you giving? You are just giving your values. In the text boxes, you are giving values and click on what? Submit button. When you click on submit button, all these values are giving to background program. Then background program preparing the insert query with these values. Who is that program? That is JDBC program. I'll catch my point. What is the difference between SQL plus and JDBC? Both are client applications. By using JDBC, we are developing database client application, database client software, which will execute queries in an automated way. I take SQL on Oracle na. When you want to interact with a database, what are you doing? Open command prompt, then type what? SQL plus. Remember? Open command prompt. Open command prompt. Then clear screen. What you type here? SQL plus. Then SQL plus window will open. Then you connect username / password. Then you started running select query, insert query, update query, delete query. Remember? Those queries who is typing? You are typing. That means you should know SQL knowledge. But whereas if I take JDBC application, the user to interact with the database, SQL knowledge is not required. Just you have to submit your values, then JDBC program taking those values, putting in the SQL queries and running. So the difference between SQL wise client application, JDBC wise client application, SQL plus wise client application is static nature. The user has to know Oracle SQL syntaxes or particular database syntaxes he should know. Whereas if you take a JDBC application, it is an automated way. The person who interact with the database, no need to have any knowledge on database, no need to have any knowledge on SQL. Going on, when you develop applications, you will come to know all the details. Okay, right. Next, if you want to interact with the database, if you are using SQL plus, just you need to know query syntax. But if you want to interact with the database by using JDBC, what you must know? You must know the interface names, the application development required interface names. Okay. Yesterday we have discussed some of the names. Any of you remember? Tell me, what is the first interface? Try to recollect. Driver. Second, connection. Next, statement. Prepared statement. Callable statement. Next, try. Result set. Result set metadata. Next, database metadata. Database metadata. Next, blob, clock, save point. These two are meant for establishing connection. These three are meant for creating statement and running SQL queries. Okay. These three are meant for what? Retrieving results or fetching results from the database. And these three are meant for storing blob and clock. Okay. Next, by using these interfaces, I can do all the operations. But first of all, if you want use a driver and connection, you need one class called what? Driver manager. What? Classes. These are the interfaces and these are the classes. Tell me, if you wanted to create the connection to the database, first of all, I require to take the help of driver manager. Next, by using driver manager, I able to establish the connection. With the help of driver manager, by taking the help of the driver, it will create the connection. How it is creating, I will tell. After that, I want to store data in the database. For storing data in the database, from where? The data you are having, where in Java side. The Java side data you must store inside where? Database. To store Java side data inside a database, definitely they required some type mapping. Database also having data types. If you want to store data either in the program or in the databases, what you required? Data types. Now Java has its own data types and database is having its own data types. Java data types must be matched to what? Database data types. For example, if you want to store integer in Java, what are the data types we'll use? Int, long. Okay, byte is short. Okay, int, long. If you want to store floating point data, what we use? Float and double. If you want to store the same number data in the database, which data type we'll use? Number. That means Java side data types, database side data types are same or different? Different. Same. Here into long, sleeping fellow. That's why when you are coming to class, come with a empty mouth, not with chiclets and all chocolates. That's all outside, not inside the class. Tablets, okay, na? Cough syrups, everything should be outside. When you're coming into inside class, inside mouth should not have anything. If you have, brain will be deviated. Tell me, Java side data types are int, long, float, double. Java side, database side data type is what? Number. If we want to store character, Java side is what? Char. Database side? Java side string, char and string. Database side, varchar. Varchar, varchar, yedo char, okay? These two must be matched with this varchar, na? So who will do that mapping? JDBC. JDBC means all your comes under JDBC. JDBC, driver and connection, establish the connection. JDBC, statement, prepare statement, callable statement, execute the query. JDBC, result set metadata, database metadata, retrieve the results from the database. Batch, blob, clubs, and save point will store the data, right? Like that. Now inside JDBC, what do we have to map these data types? For that, we have one special class called types. We have one special class called what? Types. Data types, types. This class types is responsible for mapping Java data types to database data types. First, we are taking data from end user into Java. Java types has to be sent to the database. That mappings will be taken care by types class. So what the first class we are having the JDBC driver manager, and second what is that? Types, and third one. We have a class called what? Date. What the class name? Date. Not a data rate, date, D-A-T-E, date. The class name is what? Date. Tell me, if you remember, when you do any transaction on your account, on which date you deposited how much money, on which date you have updated your account with a name or something, all the details, dates will be stored in a next. Now, if you are asking mini statement from this date to this date, I want all the transactions happen. Remember, that entire date information handled by date class. There are two date classes are there: java.util.date, java.sql.date. In two packages, date class is there. Most of the time we'll use java.sql.date class only. Then next, tell me, whenever you come to the date, date is having date plus a time also, na? Date following by time also there. Date and time both together is called timestamp. What we call timestamp. Date and time both together is called what? Timestamp. If you store only date, what is the problem? Today, I have explained this topic, say. Now, today when I explain morning to evening in this 24 hours, exactly at what time? For example, CC camera you take. I wanted to verify some crime. Then when it is happened, yesterday happened. Yesterday what time? Yesterday. And you know, 24 hours verifying it's very difficult now. So if you say time exactly, date and time, if you say exactly, we go to that time and we'll verify that time period. So that time is called what? Timestamp. So driver manager is it is responsible for establishing, with the help of driver, establishing the connection. After that, statement, prepared statement, callable statements will take the help of types, data type, and timestamp for running the queries and store the different values in the database, date and timestamp. Everyone understand? Now, I have a question. Everyone think and tell me. Is it a good idea for each student to provide separate room to teach Java? 100 students are there, creating 100 rooms. Is it okay? Or all students are taking into one room and teaching is okay? All students are taking and sitting in one room and teaching is called what? Pooling. I am pooling all the students. 4 to 6 advanced Java batch we are starting. This is time slot. Who are interested, come and sit in this room and listen the class. So this concept is called what? Pooling. Whom I am pooling? Students. I am pooling students. Then what this concept is called? Student pooling. What do you call? Student pooling. Tell me, Uber, Rapido, Alexa, Ola. Ola. Tell me, what these people are doing? They are pooling bikes, cars. Whenever, okay, for example, I am going from here to Bangalore. In Bangalore, can I buy a car and two for going from one place to another place for one day visit to Bangalore? Can I buy a car there and use it? No. What am I doing? I am hiring one car from the Ola, Rapido, Uber, or whatever. And then after my use is completed, I am returning that car back to that particular service shop. Then my question is it a good idea buying each person one car, or is it a good idea hiring the car from the particular people? Hiring is a good idea. After usage completed, return back. Understand the same point here. What is that? I am running my project. Inside the project, I have 10 classes are there. Class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4, class 5, class 6, 10 classes are there. All these classes are interacting with the database to run different queries. Then, is it a good idea to create connection to the database from each class and close that connection? Create connection, close connection. Create connection, close connection. Create connection, close connection. Is it not a repeated work? If you ask every time database create connection, close connection, create connection, close connection, then database burden is increasing or not? For example, morning session, something happened. 11 o'clock batch. 1.5 hour class completed. At last, one student asked me super question. What is that? Didn't understand. Explain again. Hey, 1.5 hour class completed. You asked me 1 point also not understood. Repeat explanation and then I should commit suicide. No. Can I explain it again? Possible? 1.5 hour class. Again explaining everything possible. Is it a burden to me or not? If you have, after listening 1.5 hour class, if you post 1 or 2 questions, this is a very doubt, this is a very doubt, then it's okay for me to explain. Again 1.5 hour class, again explain means I simply suggested to that student, Namaskar, rejoin the course. There is only one option is there. My point is correct or not? Similarly, what is the point here? Each class is connecting to the database, creating connection, close connection. Is it a good idea? Or, listen, very important point, don't deviate. Or what you do, you create a pool of connections, pre-cached connections, pre-opened connections. You only create connections. First you create connections, make them available. Whenever this application want to connect to the database, let it hire one connection, connect to the database. After the database interaction completed, now tell me, close connection or return connection? Free that connection. Free that connection means what? Return connection back. Then second application, which is a required connection, again will take that connection object and interacting with what? Database. When I'm explaining, you look at only screen. If you miss one word, then continuity will miss and finally you'll face problem. Repeat once again, buddy. What is that? I have my Java program, want to interact with the database. Then is it a good idea to create connection by myself every time? Wrong. Then what we have to do? Let we create the connections and then make the connections available to each class. Then that class will approach the connection pool. Understood? What we call it as now connection pool. Let it approach that connection pool and request I want one connection. Then it will return the connection to you and perform the database operations on the database. After your usage completed, close connection or free connection? Free connection, then the connection return back to the connection pool. And it is available for second application. Second application take the same connection or another connection, interact with the database. It's like a Ola or Uber. Now Ola is maintaining 10 bikes, 10 cars, let's say. Now one person is requested the app, I want from here to here, I want one car service. Then now Uber is requesting the customer, please wait, I am finding your car. Okay, then it will rounding, and finally say your driver is ready. This is a person. He started in 5 minutes. He'll come. That means what? In the carpool, one car is the over application. Pick that car and assign to you. Then you get into the car. You reach your destination, and there is a button. Okay, journey completed or something. Okay, trip completed. Once you click on the trip completed, now this car is added back to Uber software. Carpool. Again, it is added back to carpool. Then whoever the customer available at the destination nearer is requested for the car. Now this car will be assigned to that person. So that Uber concept in JDBC, we call it as what? Connection pool. Everyone understand? So tell me, each application creating individual connection by using driver manager is a good idea, or creating connection pool by using data source is a good idea? And tell me what the difference between driver manager and data source. Driver manager will return only one connection. Every time you have to create connection, close connection. If we use a data source will supply a pool of connections to you. From there, you retrieve one connection, use and return. Now, is it a fundamental concept or advanced concept? Fundamental JDBC API, fundamental classes belongs to JDBC API are provided in the package called java.sql. Java.sql. Advanced concepts, nothing but extension concepts of JDBC API are given in another package called Java X. X stands for extension. Java X dot what? SQL. Java X dot SQL. There are two packages are there. Number one, java.sql. Number two, java x.sql. In java.sql, we have the interfaces and the classes for the fundamentals of the database connection and operation, SQL queries execution. Next, java.sql package is provided with advanced API of the java.sql. What are they? Data source, which is meant for establishing connection pool. Second one, result set extension is given with the name called what? Row set. What is that? Row set. And row set is having several subclass, sub-interfaces are there. So now data source and row set are the enhanced concepts of JDBC basic core API. So finally, how many names you have to remember to work with JDBC? These are all the names you have to remember. Let's try once again. All people ready? What is the main target of JDBC? Establish connection to the database, execute queries, and fetch the result from the database. That is the point number one. Now this connection you create individual or a group of the pool connections. I want pool connections. For pool connections purpose, we have to use JDBC connection pool. Is it clear? So finally, very, very important. You should remember the JDBC API, interface names and class names. Then only you can do programming. Now let's try to recollect. JDBC API contains several classes and interfaces. All the classes and interfaces are organized into how many packages? Two packages. Java.sql, Java X.sql. Java.sql is contain Java.sql package providing the core classes and interfaces to connect with the database, and Java X.sql package provides extension API of Java.sql API. What is the extension? To the driver manager extension data source, result set extension is what? Row set. Let us write all these points in the notes. Continuation to yesterday class. Today is the third day, right? Are you feeling advanced or easy? Or still in confusion? What is happening? What is that? That side, this side dancing. Chiranjeevi, వేణస్టర్ నిద్ర వస్తుందా? నువ్వు జోలబాడు వాడికి. ఓకే, This is my advanced Java once upon a long ago. And almost 5 years back, I taken advanced Java. That material I am just revising. Okay. These are all the images that time explained. This is a core Java revision. Okay. These images are core Java revision, which is what we do, reading runtime values. Okay. Java SE, Java E, what are the different types of applications we can develop. Okay. This is file system and its problems. Next, why file is there, why database is introduced. To interact the database, which software we use, DBMS. And next, database and its objects. And this SQL plus, connecting from SQL plus. Okay, database has a two software, server software and client software. Okay, client software, what it will do? SQL plus, PLSQL developer, Toad, SQL developer, MySQL, different client softwares we have. Next, drawbacks in all database client software. Just now I have explained. Okay. Then drawbacks of database. Now you are interacting with the database server. Now you have to know insert query. This is a connection architecture. I'll explain. This is all the heavy discussion. JDBC architecture we have to write it. This one you have to write. Look. Last class we have written two packages. JDBC API providing interfaces and classes for running SQL queries to perform CRUD operations. Right. JDBC API is organized into, right? JDBC API is organized into two packages. Number one, java.sql. Number two, javax.sql. Next, java.sql provides java.sql package provides the basic interfaces and classes for establishing connection to the database and running SQL queries and database. Java x.sql package provides the extension, right? X capital, the extension, interfaces and classes. To the Java. Here extension and not superclass subclass enhancements. Okay. SQL package interfaces for creating connection pool, and advanced result set. Completed? Below are the list of interfaces and classes available in above packages. Hmm? Write down this diagram as it is. Look at here. These are the UML notation. Interface names are rounded with rounded rectangle, and class names are written with square box. I mean rectangle box. Class names are rectangle box, and interfaces are round circle. Right as it is. In one page. If you don't space, move to the next page. Everything should write in one page. Are you copying or trying to write by your own? I have written arrow marks from statement, prepared statement, callable statement. Why? Remaining interfaces, I have not written any connection. But here I written connection arrow marks. Why? So for subclasses, arrow refers to inheritance. Statement is the root interface. Prepared statement, callable statement are sub interface. Result set is the root interface. Row set is the super interface. Look at here. One more package is there, java x.sql.row set. Three packages. java.sql, java x.sql, java x.sql.rowset. Rowset interface, sub interfaces are available in another package called java x.rowset. Online students completed writing. Everyone completed? Okay. Now tell me. So we got clarity on what is the JDBC API, what are the different classes interface available, and what are their purpose. Okay. Let us quickly write the points about purpose of these all names. Already we have written interfaces, java.sql package. What the class names? Tell me. Driver manager, types, date, time. Yes, capital letter, small letter. T time, capital letter. Yes, sir. Small letter, capital letter. Small letter. Very important. Next, timestamp is a one word, not two words. Next, SQL exception. This is the exception. If any problem occurred while working with the database, we will get this exception. Of course, another exceptions also there. This is the main exception. Next. Java x.sql package interfaces. I just want to take only two. What the two? Data source. And the next, browser. G1, do you know core Java? How much core Java you know? Can you unmute? Is it okay for you? If I know how much core Java you know, I can clear a doubt. I can clear your doubt in a better way. Ask a good question. What? Can you unmute? Yeah, can you speak louder? Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, can you understand what I'm asking question? Hello? Hello? You ask me a question, all these are predefined classes or user defined classes, right? This is your question. Now my doubt is, do you know what is the difference between predefined class and user defined class? Hello? Online students, can you hear his voice? What he's saying? I'm unable to hear. Okay. Online students, what do you say? Are these names are predefined or user defined? Babu, these are user defined or predefined? Prabhuji, right. Are they predefined or user defined? Predefined. Predefined or user defined? Predefined. How can you say predefined helper? How can I say it's a predefined, man? ఏమో సార్ అందరూ చెప్పారు నేను కూడా చెప్పినా everyone said predefined, so I am also saying predefined. Yes or no? No. Everybody is saying predefined, I am also predefined. Are you having confidence that these are predefined? User defined means what? I should write interface driver open bracket closed bracket. Yes or no? If it is a class user defined, what I should write? Class driver manager open bracket closed bracket. Next, if it is a user defined, why will I write these many classes and interfaces? Why will waste my time? Why I'm giving the list? And clearly I'm saying that these are available in which package? JDBC API. What is API? Predefined library. API is a predefined library. Predefined set of classes and interfaces. Those are reused for developing our application is called what? API. The API which is meant for developing Java database connectivity is called JDBC API. So after learning all these points, if you ask user defined or predefined, and I think he missed previous classes or maybe some joking on me. Okay, the next very important topic, right up. JDBC driver. What is JDBC driver? What is JDBC driver? JDBC API completed. Now we are going to next step is what? JDBC driver. Ready to show your talent? Little bit, thoda. Core Java, some knowledge of Core Java, try to use. Tell me, connection, driver, matching. Driver. First interface name is what? Yeah, oh, that driver, this driver, both are same. No. That driver is different, this driver is different. Okay. Now tell me, driver, connection, statement, prepare statement, callable statement, result set metadata, database metadata, blobu, clawbu, save point, data source, row set. All these are classes are interfaces. Whenever you have interface contain methods with declarations or method with implementations. Method with declarations. Interfaces contain method with declarations, forcing subtypes to implement those operations. Yes or no? Interface is a kind of class. It is an unimplemented class. It is meant for providing set of operations of an object, set of declarations of an object operations. Those operations are forcing subtypes to implement those operations. This is interface definition purpose. Most of you know. If any one or people don't know, meet me after class, I'll explain personally. I don't want to go to Core Java discussion now. Now my question is, why should you declare operation? Why should you force the subtypes to implement that operation? What you are saying? Interface is meant for declaring operation, for forcing subtypes to implement. Why you declare? Why you force? Why don't you directly implement? If I directly implement, that logic is common to all subclasses. Na? If the operation implementation logic is common to all subclasses, then I have to write the logic. But the logic of the method is changing from one subtype to another subtype. For example, take the fan, live example fan. Tell me, this fan is having start operation, stop operation, blow air operation. To start, there internally fan contain winding bearings are there, right? Tell me now, fan manufacturer has to manufacture bearings, winding, cups, what do you call the condenser, wiring system, everything has to develop. How many companies are there in the market developing the fans? Many. Havells company, Bajaj company, Crompton company, Osha company, Ganga company. Many companies are there. Assume 5 companies. Many are there. Okay. Now tell me, all these 5 companies has to manufacture fan according to their wish by following some standards. Sir. Who decide those standards? Osha company, Ganga company, Havells company, Bajaj company? No. All these company main heads will be there, na? Marketing heads are main heads. All they are coming as a one body. Body and not our body. Body means what? A group of people. Okay. All people are coming as a one group of people. These group of people are taking list of operations. By fan ante, this is the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. These are the operations must be there. Are catching? Now that paper, document paper contain list of operations are given to whom now? Every fan manufacturing company. Tell me, can I start fan manufacturing company? Can I start or not? Why are you seeing me serious? You start fan, yeah, I will start. Any objection? No. Then what should I do? Can I open one room and then there can I add the board and saying that I am fan manufacturing company, HK super specialty fan. Can I start like that? No. Government people will come and catch me and kill me. First, I have to register my company with what? Fan manufacturing body will be there. First, I have to register. After that, I have to take the guidelines and manufacture the fan. And I have to send that fan to the company. They will approve ISI mark. That ISI mark, they are verifying everything. According to standards you implemented or not, checking. So now what you are understanding? Business. If you want to manufacture one product like you, there are many competitors also there. All these same companies, same product manufacturers must follow the common guidelines. That common guidelines in Java, we will develop by using interface. Understand? Tell me. There is a company called Troy, T-R-A-I, Troy. It creates all the rules and guidelines for all SIM manufacturing companies. Jio, Tata, Reliance, what do you call it? Airtel, BSNL, all these people must follow the rules and guidelines of whom now? Try. They cannot manufacture SIM. They cannot increase the tariff, decrease the tariff according to their wish. First, they have to get approval from Try. Next, very important. All banks are doing deposit withdrawal bank operation according to that bank. No, according to RBI. Then tell me, who create the guidelines to all the banks? RBI. RBI has a prepared set of rules and guidelines and forcing subtypes to implement. Now, final conclusion, 2 points I want to get from you. Number 1, when multiple people are coming together to do same business, there should be a rules and guidelines. That rules and guidelines must be prepared by one document. This document paper will be given to all manufacturing companies. All manufacturing companies are following same rules and guidelines to implement. This point is understood? Second point, very important point. These companies has to implement according to their wish, according to the guidelines. For whom? For their purpose, for user purpose. If every company following their own standards, their own style of manufacturing, ultimately who will suffer? User. Yes or no? For example, you take this fan. Okay. Now this fan is having what? Hanging rod is there and wings are there. The size of the wings are changing from one fan to another fan? No. Now what I did as an electrician, I know the size of the fan and everything. Accordingly, giving the gaps and fix the multiple fans in one row. Suddenly, HK fan bought. HK fan, what do you call, the wings are this much extra large wings I have provided. Then it can be fit here? No. Next, all fans are rounding what? Clockwise direction. Now I am running it in anti-clockwise direction. Clockwise direction, if you run, air will come down. Anti-clockwise direction, you also going up. Are you following my point? Very, very important. Last point I am asking. Why guidelines are provided and subtypes to forcing to implement? Because one subtype to another subtype, implementation, manufacturing style is changing or not? They have to follow the size is same, but the quality is what? Different. Na? Based on my price, I want more customers to get to my shop. Then I am giving what? Less price I am putting to my product. But that much heavy quality I cannot provide with a less price. You follow my point? You given me core Java to teach 1 week. Can I give huge content? No. If you give me 3 months to 4 months, then I can give you good content for competitive to the industry. So same way, now if you are forcing the subtypes to implement, then he can implement that product according to his budget. If you only manufacturing the product, then why the subtype will come? Why the manufacturer will come? If I myself, if RBI itself running the bank, then why HDFC Bank will come? Why ICICI Bank will come? If Try company itself is manufacturing the SIMs and releasing, then why Jio will come? Why Airtel will come? Are you following my point? So if you want good business happening in the market, there should be a competition between monopoly should not be there. That means what happen as part of business, multiple people should come forward to do that business. And when multiple people are coming, then monopoly will not be there. All are competitive way, they are giving the prices. Finally, who will be benefited? User will be benefited. Then who has to manufacture the product? One person. Then can he manufacture according to his wish? No. Must he implement according to the rules and guidelines? Everyone understand? Let me ask one more last question and then we'll come to the JDBC. All you people know bikes. Any company bike manufacturing design is same or not? I'm not asking look and feel. The parts place is same or not? Left side, clutch and gear. Right side, front brake, back brake. Okay, na? Who decided that order? All by companies decided. Okay, one rules guidelines is prepared on paper and the paper is released in the market. Any bike, you can follow your own design, but the parts order must be like this. Okay, now I am manufacturing one new bike. What is that? HK bike. Suppose that rules and guidelines are not there. Anybody according to your wish you can manufacture. Then HK bike is coming to market. I always thinking what? Something new. As part of this something new, what I did, brakes move to left side, clutch and gear move to right side. Already you have habituated driving the bike, but new bike is coming into market. So you expected, yes, this bike I have to drive. Then you bought it, but you don't know that left side is the brake, right side is the clutch. But first, when you're starting, you realize, oh, this side clutch, okay. But you are bought that particular bike and then you bought it and going on the road. First 5 minutes, 10 minutes, your mind will be focused. Once you enter it into the traffic, will you remember right side is the clutch, left side is the brake? No. But your brain and body hand habituated what? Whenever you wanted to stop, what do you press? Left side brake, right side, sorry, right side brake, left side clutch. In that habit, when you press the front brake, what happen? Body will be go kilometer distance. So tell me now, if rules and guidelines is not there, who will face the problem? Implementation persona or declaration persona or the user? User. If you want to make the user comfortable, happy and safe to use the products, there should be a rules and guidelines. By following the rules and guidelines, these people has to implement. Everyone got clarity up now? Now, let us apply this core Java knowledge in advanced Java. Ready? Tell me what is JDBC architecture? This mouse is not working. This is our Java application. Hey, where are you, man? This is our Java application. Everyone please focus. Now this Java application want interact with the database. Which database? Which database? Only one database, any database? Oracle database or MySQL database or different database, any database. Now I am considering it as Oracle. And this is MySQL. And this is, array here, what is happening? This is SQL Server. 3 database I am taking like this, a number of databases. And this is what Java application. Last point, sir, please focus. With this point, we can enter it into program. Now this Java program want to connect to any of these 3 databases, 1, 2, and then 3. Then now tell me, if you want to talk addition class, subtraction class, multiplication class, our calc class, want to talk to the different classes, means that the class name and method name has to call the Oracle software to interact with the Oracle database has provided its own set of what you call method names. MySQL software has provided its own set of method names. SQL Server has provided its own set of method names. Those are called DBMS. Do you know DBMS? DBMS. Now database has provided Oracle database and SQL Server, MySQL database and SQL Server DBMS. Very important, please consider. Okay. Now this Oracle DBMS has provided, actually database is developed in the language called what? C language. Which language? C language. Now I can say this is Oracle connection. Okay, now Oracle, okay, Oracle connection and execute. 2 methods I am taking. Execute, see here query. Oracle execute, execute. Database is developed in C language. So in C language, they provided 2 functions. They provided 2 functions. Just little difficulty, please pay attention. You must learn this point, okay? There is no chance to skip. You must learn this point. Now tell me. In the MySQL DBMS, can you guess what are the method names would be there? MySQL connect, and then MySQL execute. I'm writing shortcut execute of query, space problem. Everyone should guess, okay? Hope already you got the clarity on. Tell me now. SQL Server DBMS has provided its own C functions. What is that? SQL Server connection and SQL Server execute query. Now, if you want to interact with a database, what you have to do? Database is a software. With that software, if you want to connect, if you want to perform operation, that software supplied functions I have to call. But what is the problem here? Those Oracle database, MySQL database, SQL Server database developed in C language, C functions are there. But now I have Java program. Java program to C functions. Is it possible or not possible? Possible, but lot of background logic we have to develop. Instead of we develop, what happened? Observe, Sun Microsystem told, "Arey, my dear Java developers, you don't worry about database is developed in a C language, another language. Number two, what are the functions of that C language, how to connect to Java language, you don't worry. As a common functionality to all you people, I am providing something called what? JDBC API. Last point. Okay, what is provided? JDBC API. I am providing JDBC API. You guys are, don't worry. It is developed in which language, how to use that language, you don't worry. Just your responsibility is only understanding how to work with what? JDBC API. That's all. Remaining all, I will take care. Then what Sun Microsystem did? They have provided JDBC API. What the meaning of JDBC API? Driver, connection, statement, result set metadata. All these names are provided. But all these names are classes or interfaces? Interfaces. Now tell me, these interfaces has to be implemented or not? Yes. Who we should implement? Java developer should implement. Sun Microsystem should implement. Database vendor should implement. Think now. Again, repeating the question. Ready? Once again, I want to give explanation. Okay. Now tell me, I want to develop a Java program to interact with any database. How many databases we have? Multiple databases are there. If you want to interact your program to a particular database, that database functions you have to call from your Java program. Then database is developed in which language? In Java or C language? C language. C language functions calling from the Java program is difficult. Then what Sun Microsystem told, my dear Java developers, you don't worry about how to call C functions. I will take care of it. What you have to do in your Java program, just you access what? JDBC API. What the meaning of JDBC API? In your Java program, you must use what? Connection. Next one is what? Statement. Prepare. Okay, result set. Let me write. Okay, in your Java program, just you use connection, of course, driver, connection, statement, prepared statement, callable statement, result set. Just you use those JDBC names. That's enough. That's all your target. But what is the problem? At the time of compilation, I can write interface names. But at execution time, interface method should have logic now. Inside interface method has logic or no logic? No logic. Then where that logic is available? Who should supply the logic to the JDBC API interface? Means subclasses who will provide to the interfaces. Now I am giving three options. Number one, Java programmer. If a Java programmer is that much talented, why JDBC API required? Directly we can write my own program connecting to the database by calling DBMS functions or not. So I am not talented. My job is what? Only user. I am the just user, not the developer. Okay, Java programmer, take light. The next person who coming into picture, Sun Microsystem. Everyone should participate. Sun Microsystem has provided JDBC API with interfaces to implement, to force to implement. If you want to implement, why they provided interfaces? Point is clear or not? Sun Microsystem don't want to implement. They want create the standards how to connect to the database from the Java program. That's it. So they want just to provide the specification, rules and guidelines, common rules and guidelines to the databases. Even though background database is implemented with a different names, least bother. What I have to do? I am a Java developer. My Java developer connect to the database same way. Even though database is changing, my Java program should not alter. My Java developer should not face any problem. So I am creating standards. My dear database vendors, whoever want connection from my Java program, whoever want to do business with my Java front-end application, you have to follow my standards and guidelines. Following? Understand up to now? Then tell me, who will provide implementation classes for the JDBC interfaces? By Java developer? No. By Sun Microsystem? No. Who will provide? Database vendors will provide. Sir, how database vendors will provide? Array, come on, Rabbi. Database vendor should know how to interact with its database or not. You people know how to interact with your vehicle. Na? You bought the vehicle, you know how to start the vehicle. You bought the bank account, you know how to interact with the bank. You are the owner, so you know how to interact. Then what Sun Microsystem did? Sun Microsystem only did one thing. See, mister, this is the method I will use in Java to connect it to your database. Implement that method. This is the method I will use to send the queries to your database. You implement that method. Totally, how many interfaces available in our JDBC? Around 10 interfaces, suppose. Okay. Then what some Oracle Corporation has done? They have created subclasses. They have created subclasses implementing these interfaces. What the subclass name? Oracle driver, Oracle connection, okay, Oracle statement. Like this, they have created all subclasses from these interfaces. They created subclasses from these interfaces. Like this, what MySQL company also did? MySQL company also, come on, created subclasses are implementation classes are. Implementation, we should not say subclasses, we must say what? Implementation classes. Interfaces, subclasses, implementation. MySQL driver, MySQL connection, MySQL statement, MySQL statement. Like this, they have provided their own set of subclasses for the JDBC API. Is it clear? Like this, what happened? SQL Server also, these people are also has provided their own subclasses. Now my question is, can you guess as a developer, can you guess? In a driver, there is a one method. Inside connection interface, there is a one method. Inside statement interface, there is a one method. Those methods are implemented and arrow mark will come this way, na? Inside that method body, they have to write their own logic, just calling the methods of DBMS. Everyone should guess. Come on. Last point I told you already. What they are doing? Very simple. Sun Microsystem has provided interface and the method declarations, method names provided. Then Oracle Corporation creating one class deriving from the driver interface, another class deriving from connection interface, another class deriving from statement interface, another class deriving from result set interface. Like that, 10 interfaces are there, 10 subclasses are provided. In that subclasses, in that implementation class, inside a driver, there is a one method. Okay, that method is implemented here. Connection has a one method. That method is implemented here. Following up. What is the logic inside that method has to write? Array logic is what? Connecting to the database. To connect to the database, what functions has to call? DBMS function. So inside subclasses, DBS functions are called. Tell me, as a Java developer, should I remember each and every method available in database DBS functions required or not required? Not required. Point number one. Point number two, what should I remember as a Java developer? I should remember only the JDBC API interface names and the methods available in the JDBC interface. Up to now, understand? Then, who has provided the implementation? Oracle. Now, your Java program want to connect it to whom now? Oracle database. To connect to Oracle database, to the driver interface, what is the class name I have to attach? Oracle driver. Driver D equal to new Oracle driver. Tell me, I want to connect it to the Oracle database. Then what I should write? Connection con equal to which object I have to create? Come on, one example I told, second example you have to tell, right? Oracle connection. I want to run the statement on the Oracle database. What statement I should write? Statement stmt equal to new Oracle statement. What you have to use? Oracle database function names are Oracle database provided subclass names are Oracle database provided subclass names I have to use. Everyone comfortable? Now tell me, my Java application want to change from what now? Oracle database to MySQL. Then I should use the DBMS functions or MySQL provided subclass names. MySQL provided subclass name. Tell me, previously in Java program, what names I have used? Oracle supplied subclass names I have used. Now, whose subclass names objects I have to create now? MySQL objects I have to create. Everyone understand? Next point. Tell me now. Now I want to connect it to SQL Server. Then SQL Server, if you want to connect, whose names I have to use in my Java program? SQL Server supplied function names or subclass names? Subclass names. Up to now, understand? Shall I ask a question now? Very, very important. Who is driving the connection and queries from Java to database and JDBC API? JDBC API implementation classes. JDBC API implemented classes. Okay, na? By understanding. Everyone, last question I'm asking. Ready? Just with the JDBC API, can you connect to the database? No. Just with the JDBC API, can I run my queries on the database? No. Because JDBC API is just interfaces. They just provided declarations, doesn't have implementations. If you want to connect to the database, I need some logic. If you want to send the query to the database, I need some logic. Who provided that logic? Database vendor provided implementation classes. Who is driving? Come on. Who is driving connection and queries from database to from the Java application to database? Database vendor provided implementation classes. Repeat again. Database vendor provided JDBC API implementation classes. There is a big sentence. What is that? JDBC vendor provided JDBC API implementation classes. That much a lengthy statement. Who will tell? Write down notes. Write down notes. Write down notes. What are you writing? I said write down notes. When I say write down notes, how many steps you have done? Step number 1. Look at my face. Really? Really? Then you look into your notes. Okay. Open the notes and then go to the white page and then open the pen, putting the cap backside and then getting ready. If I am not dictating, then you look at my face. Cheppo, tell me, I am waiting for your notes, right? I give only one word. What is that? Write notes. When I say write notes, how many steps you are bringing? Similarly, database vendor provided JDBC API implementation class. That much lengthy statement is given with a single word called JDBC. What? Driver. What the name? JDBC driver. Write notes. JDBC driver. So tell me, what is the driver? Driver is a driver. No. Okay. Driver. Why the name is driver? Because it is a driving the connection from Java application to database and further driving what? SQL queries from Java application to database and driving results from database end to Java end. Because these many drivings are there, people has invented a name called what? Driver. And moreover, what is the first interface name in the JDBC API? Driver. Because these many matching driver, people name all the subclass names with a single name called what? JDBC driver. So tell me, what is the difference between JDBC API, JDBC driver? JDBC API is a specification set of interfaces with method declarations. What is JDBC driver? JDBC driver is a specification or implementation. Can I say software? What is a software? Collection of classes providing functionality is called what? Software. So what is JDBC driver? JDBC driver is a software. It contains set of implementation classes provided by driver vendor for the JDBC API interfaces. In simple statement, I can say, what is JDBC driver? The set of implementation class, database vendor provided set of implementation classes of JDBC API interfaces is called what? JDBC driver. How many JDBC drivers we have? One for every database, one separator. One JDBC driver, separate JDBC driver, separate JDBC driver. One JDBC driver software for one database. Oracle database, Oracle JDBC driver software. MySQL software, MySQL JDBC driver software. SQL Server JDBC driver software. Everyone understand? What JDBC software implementation contains internally? Very simple. Calling DBMS functions to connect to the database. It contain methods, our own methods are JDBC API provided methods are JDBC API provided methods. Up to now understand? Shall I ask one last question? Why Sun Micro system unable to develop the implementation for all the JDBC API? Why they are depending on Oracle or MySQL or SQL Server vendors? Again repeating, instead of JDBC API provided, why Sun Micro system has not provided implementation directly to interact with the database? Answer already I gave you. The implementation of database connection changing from one database to another database. When the implementation logic is changing from one subtype to another subtype, as a super class, I must implement the operation, declare operation and force the subtypes to implement. This is the point I explained in abstract method and interface. Why abstract method? For a declaring operation for forcing subtypes to implement. What is the example we have learned in core Java? Shape, rectangle, square, circle. What is the shape of business operation? Find the area. What is the logic of find area in the shape? No, I don't know. Because its implementation logic is changing from one subtype shape to another subtype. Rectangle find area logic is L into B. Rectangle square S into S. Circle pi r square. So the logic is changing from one subtype to another subtype. Then what we have to do? Declare. Same way, establishing connection to one database to another database. Establishing connection from one database to another database. Implementation logic is changing. Query execution logic is changing. Then who has to supply the logic? The subtype has to supply. Who is the subtype here? Oracle database, one subtype. MySQL, one subtype. SQL Server, one subtype. Now, I want to develop one Java program connecting to all databases. Then I have to write the program common to all databases. That is where super class is coming to make our Java application loosely coupled to all databases. Heavy explanation, okay na? Understood? So I went, whenever object oriented programming related concepts are coming, I go into deep. Okay na, comfortable? Finally tell me, what is JDBC API? Specification. It contains set of interfaces with method declaration for forcing whom? Database vendors to implement these interfaces operation to connect the database and execute SQL statements. Why JDBC API given with interfaces? Why not implementation? Because connecting to the database, executing queries on the database is changing from one database to another database. That database vendor only has to supply the implementation. That's why Sun Micro system provided declaration. Database vendors are providing implementation. The database vendor provided all implemented classes together. We call what? JDBC driver software. JDBC driver or JDBC driver software. Why this software is named as a driver? Because it is a driving the connection from Java application to database and driving the queries from Java application to database and driving the result from database to Java application. Hence, it is named as what? Driver. Okay, na? Comfortable? Write down all these points. Now tell me, what is JDBC driver? Definition. The database vendor provided set of implementation classes of JDBC API interfaces is called JDBC driver. Hey, it's a time up already. 6 o'clock. Huh? Sure. Why today time is run very fast? The database vendor provided set of implementation classes of JDBC API. Interfaces is called JDBC driver. Okay. What is the today class? What we have learned in today class? We learn JDBC API provided interfaces and classes complete list we learned. And also we got clarity on JDBC driver, and also we got clarity on JDBC API with a driver architecture, JDBC architecture with driver software. So tomorrow we will write the notes for this. By tomorrow, after this, this notes completed, driver information classes completed, the theory related JDBC completed. Then we have to start writing programs to run our queries. Okay. So tomorrow I am expecting definitely we are going to see one program on JDBC application. I mean JDBC implementation. Okay. Thank you. That's all for today class. Hope all you people understood. Thank you. Kiran, admin has shared backup videos several times.